what do you need improvement in?
Just want to go through and win.
What is the purpose of overthinking? You're taking care of your loved one. That's how you can increase your sales.
Hello, everybody. This is Ferris.
This is Caleb Lenore, and welcome to another episode of Conversations with the Homecare Guyz.
Caleb, man. What's up, brother?
How you doing, Ferris?
Man, doing well, man. I'm super excited about today, brother. We got an amazing topic, man.
Oh, we have an amazing topic. This is one of the books that I have read many years ago, and it's called Who Moved My Cheese? And so Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson, by Dr. Spencer Johnson. So I'm excited to go into this book and just talk about change. But before we go into it, Ferris, how's your week?
Man, this week's been really good, brother. As you know, we just came off of, I think it was like a week and so ago. We came off the Mayor's Ball here in Atlanta, in Milledgeville.
Yeah.
So I want to shout out to our mayor, Mayor Copeland, Mayor Mary Copeland.
Yes.
She's doing an amazing job here in Milledgeville. She had an amazing gala, bro.
It was amazing. You know, at the Mayor's Ball, they honored a lot of African-American men. And actually, we were one of the honorees as well about servicing our community. But they have honored a lot of dignitaries and a lot of politicians as well as some pastors, some local pastors. And so we're excited and we're appreciative of that honor and that recognition. So thank you, Mayor Mary Copeland. We definitely appreciate it.
Yeah. And man, first of all, bro, it was the decor in there. It was like a dark green and gold, almost like an Irish type color. It was beautiful, man.
Yeah, I wonder who did the design on that. That was really beautiful.
The food was amazing. The fellowship, they had really good entertainment. Had a really good DJ. Shout out to DJ Earthquake and Missy E. The party doll was actually MC, and she did an amazing job.
Yes.
It was done really like elegance and class, man.
Exactly. I think this is the mayor's second ball here in Milledgeville. I know the first ball she did, she honored women, and so this is the ball that she honored men, and so it's great. And just to see the community come together for a great cause and a great night and a great evening of fellowship, I think that was great.
It was good, man. Good. I think one thing that I took away from there was actually, so a lot of the networking as well. A lot of times, especially in galas and balls, and just it's a great time to network with other individuals within the community. Got a chance to meet a few people that are running for different Senate seats and congressmen, Secretary of State, local representatives. It was really good, and to hear their platform and really hear how they are going to go through and actually benefit their constituents and our community as well. So I think that was really good. Any takeaways you had, man?
Takeaways. I mean, no, it was just great. So our family, we got a table and just to kind of see everybody there. My mother attended and my sisters attended, and it was just a great evening. I got a chance to definitely network and just kind of speak with the candidate for the Secretary of State, which is Floyd Griffith, as well as Hogan. Harrison Hogan is running for some political seat here locally. And so it was just great to see everyone out, especially in our community. Everyone was, they had to show their vaccination cards. So it was a great evening without masks.
Exactly. So, brother, and I think that's one thing I'm super excited about, this transitioning that we're having within the world. Like, I think everyone's about over COVID, and I think now it's kind of getting back to the norm. I think that's something that I'm so happy about, because I'm like, we've been in the mask, behind the mask for a couple of years now.
Long time.
And being able to get out and enjoy the spring, enjoy the events, enjoy seeing people and the smiles that come in, I think that's so needed. So I think that was a big thing. And I'm just super excited about the spring, man. Once this weather passed, I can't wait for the sun to come out, man.
Yes, I'm excited. But let's dive into our conversation with the book. Have you read Who Moved My Cheese?
I have read it. I think I remember many years ago, I think I was in the military as a young staff sergeant. I think I was a senior airman, young staff sergeant. It was given to me because that's a really good book for up and coming managers as well. And really, it's a very short read. So if you have not read the book, definitely feel free to go out and get the book. It's a very short read, but I think that's a book that can be read every year, and you'll gather something new from it as well. But it really taught me not to be complacent.
Exactly.
And so, but it was a great book, man.
Well, I want to dive into a little bit of the story, and Ferris, you can help me pinpoint, just kind of point out some of the pointers of the story, but the story takes place of it's two rats and two mice and I said two rats,
Look,
two mice and two
rat.
little people, and the two mice names were Sniff and Scurry, and then the two little people were Hem and Haw, and what they lived in this maze, and so in this maze there were corridors of cheese, and they would call them cheese stations, and so Sniff and Scurry, they had their running shoes on, and I guess we're telling a story right now. Sniff and Scurry had their running shoes on as well as Hem and Haw, and the first cheese station they went to was Cheese Station C. And with Cheese Station C, it was a station where they had all of this cheese. And so if you think about cheese fairs, what does cheese represent to you?
Man, for me, cheese represents for me, is more so the approach of what success looks like. So financial success, faith, fitness, family is trying to go through and attain that. So a cheese, like if I were to go through and kind of put it in a just in a picture or thing, cheese is that golden nugget that everybody goes through and chase. Whatever that golden nugget is like, I want that goal.
It could be that job. It could be that career.
It could be that, it could be that career. It could be that advancement. Is one, but for me,
home, And so what they did was they went to Cheese Station C and they got complacent. And so they were not really monitoring the cheese. So, every day when you go to work, you're expecting that job to be there. You're expecting all the situations to be the same. You're expecting your annual raise. You're expecting, the lifestyle that job is creating for you to be there. And so what happened was Cheese Station C, the cheese started to slowly dwindle. And so the mice, Sniff and Scurry, realized that, and they moved into the maze and tried to find out new cheese. But Hem and Haw, they were really complacent. They were afraid of change.
Let's kind of start, because I think that's a really good part to kind of jump on the conversation part of it, is because I think so many times in life, that's what happens for so many people. And I think I was in the same shoes at one point as well, is you go through high school, you go through college, if that's what your route is, and then you go through and get that good job, or you start that good career. And for the next so many years, it's just that. It's consuming yourself with just focusing on that particular cheese. Right. And I think that could be a dangerous focus. Like that could be, that's a certain level of focus that's good, and certain level of focus that can be dangerous as well. Because what it does is it allows you just to focus on that one thing, not seeing what's over the mountain, right? Not seeing what's around the corner, not even looking at life on a bigger picture as well. So I think that's one thing that we all can go through and actually see as well. We can go through and actually know that the cheese that we have is not going to reign forever. Right. Cheese going to get stale one day. So one day you're going to have to reinvent yourself.
Ferris, I think that's a great example. I remember, especially even being in high school, and some of my high school classmates' parents were affected with the layoffs. And there's a lot of layoffs, especially in the manufacturing business. Correct. With used to be Vault and used to be Mohawk and all this Ream manufacturing. And so all these layoffs. And so I look at that as a little bit of cheese. I look at that as, some people thought that, the manufacturing companies or the business is going to always stay into, it's going to always be there. And they created a lifestyle around that. And so they were like more like Hem and Haw, just going to work and knowing that it's going to be there. And then when things change, you get kind of like in disarray and kind of get confused, and you try to figure out what's next. And so how the story went on is Sniff and Scurry realized that the cheese was dwindling, and they kept going in the maze, and they found more cheese. Now, Hem and Haw, on the other hand, it took them a while to really kind of figure out, what should they do. And then one of the persons stayed, which is Hem. Hem stayed there for a long time, and we don't even know what the end of the story, if he actually made it to cheese, because he wanted that cheese. And sometimes, Ferris, I look at this is we could want a thing, or we could want that cheese so much that we're afraid to even venture out to try new things.
Just imagine how I think about, just imagine going to a well, especially back in the day. Imagine going to a well and then going through and getting that water, and getting that water, and you bring somebody else and they get water, and water. And just imagine if you never go through and try to find another source of water, because you're just so dependent on just that water. Right. And eventually one day you look down there, you're like, oh my gosh, like, It's not as full as it once was, but you never move. You never go through anything because that's been your main source. You've been depending on that for the last 20 years.
Right.
That's exactly what him and Ha did. They were mainly going through and just saw that source as a source that was going to continuously be there.
Right.
And not knowing that that source is being depleted. And so how I look at that in life as well is the time that we have, whether it be going on a job, whether it be the fitness part, whatever it is, it's like we're going back to that same source, not even looking around the corner because we just been so dependent on that one source. And Caleb, one thing I would say that has...
Even for teachers, Bear, I mean, it would just for anyone, you know, once you go to college and you think that education is going to be your cheese.
That main source.
And then guess what? You realize you go out and you graduate college and you can't find a job. And so now you're in the confused state of, well, I went to college all 4 years. I got all these student loans. You know, what do I do next?
And then guess what most people do? They go back to that same cheese by getting a high level degree.
Right.
Or let me go and get a master's because I believe that once I get a master's, I'll be able to eat a larger slice of cheese. And that cheese may grow just a little bit, but you're still depleting the same. It's the same well that you were going to. It's the same cheese that we're eating.
Exactly.
Then they go and get another. I think one thing, Caleb, that I see with us as well, we're always trying to go through and actually change the trajectory of our paths. And I think one thing that I talked about in one of our CEO meetings is the S curve, the sigmoid curve.
Yep.
And the sigmoid curve is a S curve. Most businesses go on a bell curve. They go up and they go down. But the sigmoid curve, they go up, and then when they see a change, they do another S. And I think that's exactly what Sniff and Curry, Steph Curry, come on.
Sniff and Scurry.
Sniff and Scurry, they were trying to go through, and I guarantee even when they found that big old room of cheese, they were on to the next. They were trying to go through and find that next level.
Yeah.
Hey, are you taking care of a disabled loved one in your home? My name is Donna Kraft. I'm a health coach with Prime Care Home Care. The last couple of years, our company has been helping family members make lasting memories with their disabled loved ones by paying that family member to take care of them in their home. If this is something you'd be interested in learning more about, please give me a call at 912-319-4166, and I'll be waiting for your call.
And one thing I think the book really kind of stated was Sniff and Scurry. They kept their running shoes around their neck, and that was amazing. Like they really were, they really were not dependent on what this cheese station or what this environment produced for them, but they always look for new opportunities. And I think that when Hall ended up making it to Cheese Station Inn, I think that was it. Yeah, the last one was the Inn. Cheese Station Inn, he realized the importance of learning from what he had. What his past mistake was. And so his past mistake was he never inspected the cheese and he never looked at it to see if the cheese was dwindling. So every day now moving forward, he learned his lesson, and he not only ate the cheese, but he inspected to see if the cheese was growing, if the cheese was he was losing cheese. And also he took the role of not only being comfortable there, but inspecting and going into the maze continually to find new cheese.
And I think this right here kind of goes into a conversation. I think a lot of times as parents, and so I'm a parent, when we were raised by our mom as well. A lot of times we go through the maze of life with our parents guiding us along the way.
Right.
And so we eat the cheese because they ate the cheese. And sometimes our parents, they have the foresight to go through and look around the corner to go through and see if there's more cheese there. Some parents, they may not. But I think it's incumbent upon us as the next generation to learn. We have to keep our running shoes on. We have to go through and realize that, hey, mom took us so far in the maze, or your parents took you so far in the maze. Right. And we have to learn from their wins and their losses to go through and realize that, okay, well, we're not just going to get stuck here. So mom may have gotten at this place of where she saw cheese and we were able to eat there for 20 years, 30 years. But we realized in our generation, just that one block of cheese is getting depleted. Everyone's going to that same job.
Right.
Everyone's going to that same career path. Everybody want to be a criminal justice major. Everybody want to be a psychology major. Everybody want to be a business major. Right. So we're all going to the same cheese, expecting it to be there. And what it's been is depleting. It's depleting the cheese. And I think one thing I gather from that story is to learn from the mistakes, but always look at the past mistakes to go through and actually see how you can get better in the future.
Exactly. You know, I think about all the graduates that graduate from college every year, and the pool of, you know, businesses or like jobs out there. And so there's so many more graduates than jobs.
Correct.
And so that's why a lot of people can't find jobs. But I would just encourage, especially, just don't put all your, what they say, eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
Go in and if you have to create something, you know, just don't be depending on, you know, well, I got to work for, my goal is to work for Deloitte, or my goal is to work for Goldman and Sachs. Because everybody, all the top people are trying to work at Deloitte. All the top people are trying to work at Goldman and Sachs. And so it's just to a point where now, like, you know, you can create your own Goldman.
Exactly.
Sachs. You can create your own Deloitte. And so I would just encourage everyone, don't put your eggs in one basket. You know, whether it's a big fancy cheese that allows you to live a great lifestyle, or a cheese that pretty much allows you to live a comfortable lifestyle. You know, still people are putting their eggs in one basket, or they're worshiping the cheese, and so don't worship the cheese.
Exactly, man. Exactly, man. I got 3 points I want to kind of bring up as we close, just to carry this conversation to a close. The first one is thinking too much about your cheese might paralyze you. So you just need to start looking. So I think a lot of times what we do is think like, it's almost like the paralysis of analysis. Sometimes we're always thinking like, oh my gosh, like when one day I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna find that big old cheese, and and that's what people do. We, especially nowadays when we have technology, we sit there and Google how to start a business. We Google how to go to college. We Google how to do hair. Whatever that thing, we Google, but we never execute. We Google how to find the cheese, but we never put our shoes on and actually go through and actually start the search for those cheese, man. Wow. So that's one thing is, going through and thinking too much can paralyze you, man. Yeah. It can truly paralyze you.
Exactly. I totally agree. I have one too I want to read if possible. Uh-huh. It says, smell the cheese often so you know when it's getting old.
Smell the cheese often
so you know when it's getting old. And so that's pretty much kind of putting your pulse on either the business, on your job, the economy. You know, you want to smell that cheese. You want to make sure that you know what's going on. Like right now, the real estate market is so expensive. So it's a seller's market. And so there's so few buyers. And so just imagine if you smelled the cheese earlier, back in the 2008 recession, when the housing market was so low and you could probably bought a house for $100,000.
Exactly.
Now those same homes, if you smelled the cheese often, those same homes from $100,000 are probably worth $300,000 or $400,000 now. And so you have to smell the cheese often, seek opportunity out, not just be complacent, not just explore your different opportunities.
Exactly, man. Exactly. That's a great point right there. Another one is nothing lasts forever. I think this kind of goes to what you said. Nothing lasts forever. So keep your eyes open for approaching changes. And like even right now, in the real estate, as the market is up and stuck, the thing is we have to be smelling the opportunities coming down the line. Like we have to smell the opportunity that, okay, well, hey, right now may not be the time for me to buy. It may be my time to go through and save more. It may be my time to go through and actually position myself, educate myself, because change is about to come and you want to position yourself for that. So that's the same thing in finance. That's the same thing in faith. That's the same thing in health. It's going through and actually seeing that the changes, they're going to be coming. But what are we going to do? What are we going to do with that as the change comes?
I got one more I want to read. It's, what would you do if you weren't afraid? I think that a lot of people just are afraid of, you know, what if we don't find cheese? But you got to think about, well, what if you do find cheese? What if you miss? You know, you can't really achieve anything if you don't try. So you have to really kind of put yourself out there and try. And so you never know, there may be more cheese and more different things. You know, right now, you know, first of all, I did not realize, I went to a restaurant just to go to, I went to a restaurant, I think it was in Gray Ingalls. You know, they have so many types of olives. So many types of olives. And so with cheese, there's many types of cheese.
Correct.
Swiss, provolone. And, you know, you may just be eating cheddar and you may realize that, you know what, I really like provolone cheese. Or I like Swiss cheese. And so you really want to kind of make sure that you explore your options. And so doing it afraid is to go out there and try. Get out there. I would encourage you to get out there in the maze because it may look dark in some areas, you know, but if you keep going and be consistent and really kind of work your path, you'll find that cheese station in.
Yeah. And you can find that new cheese. And I think we were talking about, as we were walking around our track the other day, we were talking about how we know someone that actually stepped out of healthcare and went into another industry, because that takes a fearlessness of knowing that there's new cheese out there, and she has become very successful in that other industry as well. So that's that new cheese, is not going through and saying, just because I'm a teacher, I'm always be a teacher. Just because I'm in healthcare, I'm a nurse, I'm always be a nurse. Just because I'm an insurance agent, I'm always be an insurance agent. Just because I'm a cook, I'm always be a cook. I think this right here is an opportunity to go through that maze and realize that there's other cheeses that you may like. Just like you said, there's many different types of cheese.
Exactly.
Going through and trying it, not remaining paralyzed by the thought of actually trying it, but actually going out and trying it.
Exactly. Well, there you have it. A great episode about who moved my cheese. I wish you, if you have not read that book, please get that book. It's an easy read, like Farrah said, and I think you should read it every year. I think I'm probably going to look at my library and see, can I just reread that book?
Yeah, man. It's an amazing book. And guys, again, so think about it. Who moved your cheese? And if you feel like your cheese is not moving, hey, just note that the cheese is moving. So get ready to put your shoes on and let's rock and roll. So again, we want to thank you all so much for tuning in to Conversation with the Homecare Guys. This has been an amazing episode. We want you to continue to invite others to the conversation.
Yes.
By tagging them, by sharing them, by letting them know about these conversations. Our goal is to go through and actually make sure we bring entrepreneurial topics, motivational topics, and of course, healthcare topics to your table as well, so that you can go through and actually live the best life you can live.
And if you can, go on Spotify and leave a review. When you leave a 5-star review, it helps our algorithm so people can see and watch more of our episodes, especially if you think that these episodes are so great and impactful for you. So there you have it. I hope you enjoy your day and have a great rest of your week.
Have a great one.